Heyo, welcome back to Three Borrachos Show. I'm your host, Ron, and my compadre's here with me today.
Hey, y'all. It's your buddy, Mike.
What's up, y'all? Gabe.
All right. Hey, it has been a month since we started our first episode.
Cheers to that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'll cheers to that. We've been having a blast. So thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for joining us. We're having a lot of fun. What a crazy turn of events last episode, right? So expectations versus reality. Sometimes we hype our beer up a lot, and then it turns out it's just not what you expected. So I don't know.
That was crazy because it was like we were looking forward to all three of those beers. 2 out of 3 were a letdown.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing is because we all three multiple times in the kickoff hyped them up and got the level up, and then we cracked them and they didn't meet expectations. Not saying that they were extra terrible, but they just didn't hit where we thought they were going to hit.
One of them was pretty good.
Yeah. The RAR was, I think, met the expectation.
Right.
But, you win some, you lose some. So, it's going to happen. But, yeah, let's get started. So we're going to start with what's in your glass. Gabe, what do you got over there?
Yeah, so got an Evil Twin collab with Trillium, which really dig this can art, and very hazy boy, got some orange juiceness to it, very, very tasty. And then big shout out to our friends at Black Ninja Design for this badass glass, the Wu-Tang Care Bear, one of my favorite in my collection. So if you haven't checked them out, check out Black Ninja Design. They make some stellar glassware to be drinking banger beers out of.
Like what you got?
Yeah, so I went with something local. So I have, it's called High and Tight. And so this is a 9.5% triple IPA out of 1700 Brewing.
Yeah.
Kind of our local hotspot, I guess. Great people out there. Always making out great brews. So this one is, like I said, 9.5% Simcoe Strata and El Dorado. So it's a really good mix of citrus and pine. So triple IPA, you really can't go wrong.
Yeah, and especially for 1700. Like, it's been a while since I saw a triple IPA come out there, but that's awesome. You got to grab one of those. All right, and then I brought back the boys from CLAG. It's a single IPA called Faux Ever. It's a 7% with Simcoe, Strata, and Crush. Very light-bodied, tons of flavor, though. It's kind of fruity, a little bit earthy. Overall, I think a solid brew for the show, so I'm glad I'm sipping on that. But I also had some bangers throughout the week. We've had 2 weeks to kind of try a lot of new stuff, which is always fun. Yeah. So I had 2 that I got. The first one's from Freak Folk. I brought them back on the show. Bleak. It was a double IPA, 8.3% with Citra and Nectaron hops. We tried one, I think, last night. It didn't quite hit as well, but the Bleak one I had last week, and it was a 4.75 for me on Untappd. So I really like that one a lot. I'm going to keep buying their stuff. Hopefully I can get you guys on the bandwagon there. But and then the second one I had was from Treehouse. It was called Golden Rose. It's a New Zealand triple IPA, 9% with Nelson, Waimea, and Paradisi hops, which I have not heard of. But mostly South Hemisphere, New Zealand type hops. And we kind of talked about this yesterday with the New Zealand stuff. Stone fruit is a thing that we kind of thought it was an actual fruit.
Yeah.
We were gonna let's bring it on the show. Let's kind of try it, right? It's actually not. It's a family of fruits, stuff with pits in it.
And that wasn't a one-off event.
No,
like multiple times.
We have said it.
And I was guilty of it. I was like, man, I want to get a stone fruit and bring it on the show.
And just slice it up, hand it out, and be like, this is what stone fruit tastes like. Come to find out, we all ate stone fruit on several occasions throughout our life.
Yeah, this is what happens, when you don't know a whole lot about the game.
We're in the age of Google, and we didn't Google it right away. We thought we knew what we were talking about. So.
But overall, I think, I'm growing on these New Zealand type stuff with Nelson, and It's a favorite for me. But those were two of the bangers I had. Gabe, what'd you have?
Yeah, so one of my favorite beers of the week definitely was Hidden Beneath the Fog by Fidens. Really good beer, 7.3 ABV, New England double IPA, Citra, Eggers Special, but really good beer, juicy, very flavorful. There's not many that I've had from Fidens that just missed the mark, and that one was really, really good. Really smooth, creamy, and I say hops all around. And when I say that, it wasn't really, you got hops throughout the sip. It wasn't like on the front end or the back end. It was just all the way through the drink. So it was really good. And then we were lucky enough to travel to Aslin, Virginia Beach. Yeah, the new Virginia Beach spot in Aslin. And we had several of their beers, checked out the spot. Super cool area. One of the favorites for all of us really was the Passion of Joanne Imperial Double Milkshake IPA, 9.4% ABV, which is pretty high. Mm-hmm. And I know when I talked to you guys, when I kind of introduced you guys to the glass I had, and I was like, dude, this is 9.4. It kind of blew our minds because it was hidden very well. Lots of vanilla in it, which I can honestly say, usually it's kind of gimmicky with vanilla and IPAs to me sometimes, and it kind of makes the beer a little bit, it gives it a different flavor profile that usually I'm not a big fan of, but I was a huge fan of this one. It was really well done.
I feel like it gave off more of like a marshmallow taste to it.
Yeah.
But it was great balance.
Yeah. So I think that's also why it was the milkshake, right? So none of us would have ever have, sampled that beer and been like, oh, that's a milkshake IPA. Now, we would have probably called it a double, and then, recognize the different flavor profiles, whatever, right? But I know I would not have been like, oh, that's a milkshake, because that's not. Right. And normally, when you look at the menu, you're not going to be like, oh man, what milkshakes are on the menu? Because that's not a big, not a big go-to.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, we tried several beers betwing the three of us, and we had a lot of different brews to taste, and they all put out a good show. The new spot in Virginia Beach for Aslin, been to the Alexandria spot several times. Big place, really cool. I'd say their Virginia Beach spot is probably cooler. Giant TV on the outside, just on the side of the wall. They kind of have a shipping container type atmosphere with all the spaces that hang out. They got a merch container. They have another container in the back that's supposed to be like more sporty, where they have games over the bar. Yeah. And they also, we found out towards the end of our visit that's where they keep the homemade in Virginia Beach brewed beers, right? Which we were kind of disappointed in because we were heading out for dinner at that point. But wanted to give a shout out to Angelo at the spot of Virginia Beach. He was kind of disappointed we didn't introduce ourselves and give him the business card early in our visit. But he gave us a tour of where the magic happens in the back, showed us the brew house, and gave us a tour of the entire facility. So really, it was a phenomenal experience.
Great venue. Yeah. Right. So you walk in to like the main kind of area, right? And you can order beers, whatever, and they have food, right? So we ordered, appetizers, whatever, right? But then you can also just scan right at the table. Yeah. And so, you can scan at the table, bring up the menu, and then they'll deliver right to you. Yep. Right. So I thought that was really great, right? Mm-hmm. Big picnic tables, they have round tables, all kinds of good stuff. This is going to be maxed out
in the summer.
Summertime. Virginia Beach is very popular to start with. Yep. A lot of people are going to be there. Aslin is, I don't know, not even a mile from the beach, right? So it's probably half a mile, whatever, right? And parking's not that big of an issue. Like,
it's right next to the convention center, so you got that parking lot to take advantage of.
But, I mean, great outdoor venue. But it will see some foot traffic. I promise you that.
Yeah, so, they have a ton of Adirondack chairs out in the yard essentially that they've made, and they got a huge Virginia Beach screen. Like, I was super. Could you imagine sitting out there watching baseball in the summertime?
It'd be amazing.
It'd be awesome. Yeah. I really enjoyed our visit there. Mm-hmm. Angelo, the entire staff was super welcoming, even before they knew what we were there and what we were doing. So super cool. And they had pretty badass food too. I
Yeah,
mean, the
yeah.
food, like that pizza that came out, we didn't try it, but that pizza looked fire.
Yeah.
So
100% would recommend.
Yeah.
yeah, 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
Yeah, would go back.
Yeah, without question.
What about you, Mike? What you got for the week?
So this week I had Galactic Karaoke from Monkish. And I know a lot of people have been checking that one. It's a triple IPA, 10.2%, double dry hopped with Galaxy. Another big tropical drink with some dank on the back, but just amazing, right? And so like a lot of people do Monkish Mondays, and so if you're fortunate enough to have one in the fridge, that's great. If you're even more fortunate to get this brew, phenomenal. So if it's available, I highly recommend getting after it.
Like next Monday, probably. I would highly suggest.
I missed that one. Yeah.
But it was super good. And then another good beer we had. So, kind of tagging on what Gabe said, right? So when we left Aslin, we decided to go to grab a bite to eat, right? And so if you're in Virginia Beach, there's a place called 1608 Crafthouse. And so we've all been there numerous times.
Oh yeah,
It's
Um,
great.
mouth's watering just talking about it, man.
So yeah, and it's kind of tucked away a little bit, whatever. But and so I can understand like when you pull into the parking lot, you might kind of begin to doubt things. But it has great outdoor seating.
Yep.
And then once you walk into the venue, I mean, it's a lot bigger than what you would expect,
Yeah.
right?
A totally different vibe than what
Yeah.
like you said, it's very unassuming place when you walk in, or when you're in the parking lot, but then you walk in, it's like
It has a terrific food menu.
Yeah.
So it has an extensive list of appetizers,
Mhm.
a super great variety of main course foods,
Yeah.
right? So there was everything from burgers to pizza, fish. I mean, very, very good food. But maybe even better than all that is the beer list.
Yeah.
And so, you can walk in on any given day, and you're always going to find good beers. Like you're never going to be like, oh man, I wonder what,
Yeah.
Yep.
So in this case, they had a couple of Fidens on tap, which was really good.
Mhm.
But the one I had was High from Little Willow. And so, I hadn't had a lot of Little Willow before, so I wanted to try it, right? And the staff, right? So I think, we showed up and like I was talking to the dude and he was like, oh yeah, man, we got Fidens on tap. I was like, oh, that's super awesome. I was like, what else do you got that you could recommend? And he says, hey, try this one.
Right.
Right. And so this was a double 8.2% double dry hop with crushed Nectaron and Citra. But wow. Yeah. So not known to me, but absolute killer beer. So
Yeah.
like,
yeah. I mean, I had it too, and it was a home run beer. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 1608's by far my favorite place. Like every time us three go across the water with the wives or whatever, it's like, hey, I think it's a 1608 kind of day. Let's hit it up. And it never disappoints. Their food menu. I mean, as soon as you walk in the door, if you're not hungry, you immediately get hungry, and then you start thinking about that beer menu, you get thirsty. So I think it's one of those things where I love going to it, and anybody that tells me like, hey, I'm going over to Virginia Beach, Norfolk area, I was like, just go to 1608. It'll make your day.
and don't forget about dessert.
Oh yeah. I was,
Oh, bro.
I was waiting for that. Cause that dessert menu's off the chain, whether you get the skillet cookie with ice cream or that, that peanut butter and jelly, fried peanut butter and jelly jam.
So we had this share for everyone at the table of like, I mean, it was literally like a kind of a fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? All cut up and everything. Super good.
Fried.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cornflakes on the outside fried, and it's just magical.
Yeah. Super good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was just about to say, so you go to Richmond, you go to Mekong for the beer list and food. You go to Virginia Beach, you go to 1608, I say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of, so
Yeah.
definitely check them out. We're going to go into a segment, craft beer. So we started last week talking about kind of where our journey began and everything. What is the craft beer that you guys have had that changed your perspective on kind of the craft beer world, right? I think we're going to start with Mike on this one.
So, we've all had craft beer for years, right? But for me, it was kind of the fall of 22, right? And so we had gone to field days. Gabe and I had gone to field days up in Williamsburg. Lots of good brews came in and all that kind of good stuff. And we'd had the first time we experienced RER. But what it did was it made us kind of get out.
Yeah.
And so what we did was, sure, we went to RER, but then while we were there, we were hunting other beers, and we came across Trippin' Animals, and they were making a bunch of. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still make good beers now, but they were making a bunch of good brews at the time. And the one beer that I distinctly remember was called Mrs. Glenda, right? And so they did a Land Before Time series, and so this was, a beer with a velociraptor, on the front of it. And I got some notes. So it's a 8.5% double IPA with Idaho 7, right? And so that's not something that you initially be like, oh man, I can't wait to have that beer. It is a 3.95 global rating across 666 check-ins. And for whatever reason, I didn't even check it in. So I have
classic,
yeah. So in my garage, I have all these labels from these beers, and Mrs. Glenda is one of them. But for whatever reason, I didn't check it in. But I can distinctly remember that beer being something special, and that really kind of started the snowball of hunting specific beers. And so, like, I can remember, going after and looking for Trippin' Animals and see what they're putting out. They put out a whole slew of good IPAs. They did a bunch of sours and things like, which, a good sour goes a long way as well. But, at that point, it was all about finding the next Trippin' Animals release. And so we were fortunate. So we found them all over the place. And then the local bottle shop also had them. So we could kind of keep it going. But that was, Mrs. Glenda was a big deal to me.
Yeah, it's still to this day, right? Like, our boys at Early Birds hit you up. Like, as soon as they get a tripping animal, doesn't matter what flavor, variety, whatever.
I'm getting texts and pictures.
Mike has all the tripping animal beer can labels stuck in his garage. I think he's probably got, you got to have close to like 98% of every beer can they've ever distributed outside the state of Florida. I would think probably.
I would say probably 98% of all beers released in our area since January of 23.
Yeah, you got to have 50 or 60 labels.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
I wanted to say more, but I figured I was blowing it out of proportion, but maybe not.
I would have to go look at it.
Yeah.
It feels a wall.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
The first thing
it's pretty impressive. And they make some dope ass labels too, for their beer cans.
Their can art's amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're all the same. It's not like they're changing genres or anything. It's pretty much the same thing every time. So
yeah, mine's kind of similar. So on last week, I shared, my journey didn't really start until I met y'all a couple years ago, right? And so
you made him an addict.
Yeah, for real. But when we went to 1608, for the first time that I went there with you guys, it was an equilibrium brew, which we were into at the time. And I was looking over the list, and Gabe suggested, hey, why don't you try that MC Squared? Which is one of their flagship beers. I had not had it yet, so I ordered it. I got it, and I want to say, like, the light bulb went off, in my head.
I remember this fool moaning as he's drinking his beer.
So you introduced me to MC Squared also on one of our trips to RER. So I can totally understand where you're coming from there.
And that was like the first time.
I'm a bad influence.
Juicy, like double IPA, and I was like, man, this is a great beer. It's probably one of my first true 5 ratings that I gave.
Yeah.
And it's still a 5 to this day. And actually, right now, it is where did I put it? 4.21 average across 83,000 people.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah,
it is actually
it out.
And then MC Cubed was a different game changer. That's a triple, which we do like our triples.
Yeah.
But for me, that day when we sat down and I had that like at 1608, I was it opened my eyes. So I was like, okay, this is kind of what I like.
And then we went on a run and we found out that Equilibrium ships.
Yeah.
So then we went on a run of, like, every time that they would kick out beers, we were trying to bring them in, and that's what kind of opened the aperture, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it all starts with MC Squared.
Especially when I think the big thing was when they started doing a lot of collabs. We had the MC Cubes and MC Squared. We loved those. And then they had that big run of collabs with all the heavyweights of the beer game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a ton up there. But remember when we used to talk about moving to Middleton?
Yeah.
I actually looked up houses.
Yeah.
I was on
He's on
Reddit.
Zillow
I was on
sending
Reddit.
us
Yeah.
houses. Like,
I'm
we
looking
could
at
live
houses
right here.
that I could walk.
Yeah.
And I was
And
like,
work at the brewery. I remember
Yeah.
that being specifically like, I'll get a job at the brewery and we just have all the beers we want whenever we
it
want.
wouldn't make sense. Now, but in my own defense, I also looked up Trippin' Animals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's
You
down
did.
in Doral, Florida.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford that because those were all like $1 million houses or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah.
Yeah. I remember those days. That
That's
was back
hilarious.
back when we were figuring it out. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Gabe?
Yeah, so I think mine's a little bit different from you guys. Like I talked last show about like going to the Italian beer fests, and and I had the breakfast out from Founders, which kind of blew my mind. But for me, I think that my family's a big foodie family, and you guys know as well as I do. Like if we can match a restaurant up, kind of like what we've already talked about, Macong and 1608. If we can marry food and beers together, it's just a magical experience. So my big time thing, and one of the first times I realized like Untapped had what verified venues are on the app. Me and my buddies were after a TDY, we were in DC for the weekend, and we checked out a place called Church Key, which all of us have been to the Church Key together. And they have the Church Key, and they have another stellar lineup of beers and make amazing food as well. But this was at that time it was 2018 or 19, I think. I think it was 19 actually from my Untapped, and I had the first time I ever had a Monkish beer, and it was Really Real by Monkish. 8.3 ABV, double Imperial double New England IPA. And man, I had a lot of beers at that point in time and had tried stuff, and I was like, this thing here, like, and then you have some really good food with it, and it really opened my eyes to like really matching food and beers, and really kind of like, oh man, we need to start checking these places out. Yeah. And I started abusing Untapped for restaurants and beer places and looking where they had good beer lists and things. So if you're not doing that and you like beers and your family likes food, I highly suggest it, because I can honestly say from my experiences, and I've done this hundreds of times, not very many places serve bad food with good beer.
Oh, yeah,
if they have a killer freaking beer list, you're probably going to get fed well.
Yeah. And even if they don't do food trucks, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think I'm batting 100 for 100. I mean, I think I bring my wife on the show. She say, yeah, because it's one of the first things she does is like, hey, what's on your beer app for food around here? So just something to think about. But yeah, that beer really opened my eyes, because it was also one of the first New England IPAs that I had that was a really good New England IPA. You can have these average ones, but that one was stellar. And I just remember like, I got to get my hands on Monkish. Anyhow, I got to figure out how to get Monkish. And luckily I had a couple friends.
I'll say we're still kind of that way, right? So, yeah.
So, but that was the beer that kind of changed the game for me. Because the wife doesn't drink beer, and trying to get her involved. Well, I can get her involved when they got food and good food involved. So it makes it a lot easier. The argument easier.
Yeah.
So
love it. That's awesome. If you have your own story, feel free to share. Feel free to comment on the video. Let us know what your craft beer was that opened your eyes to everything. We'd love to hear you. So, all right. It's a little early, but let's start cracking brews.
Yeah, let's go, right?
Okay. So, last week
we're gonna bring this up.
We're gonna try not to replicate it, but we did try to do a sour, an IPA, and a stout again. We're gonna try again, and I'll start us off.
I think this time we're gonna prove that it wasn't the different styles, because I think we've had some folks, question. I know I've had a couple of people ask me like, "You sure it wasn't? You mixed the styles up?" And I don't think.
We'll try.
We'll try it out.
So in defense of all the brewers for the beers that we had last week, right? They were all good breweries.
Yeah.
We just think that they were kind of off. So
from our expectations.
So, but again, we have.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing, right? It's like expectations. We were sitting on the moon, couldn't wait to
But again,
put the flag in the moon, you know.
But again, another banger lineup, and so like when you
he
said, "Hey, I've got this,"
he said it.
Yeah. So with that being said,
it's going to be a banger.
we're bringing on. We've mentioned it already once every episode, but another Ill Will beer, Impeached. It's got peach and vanilla, smoothie sour. It's got notes of strawberry and white chocolate. So we'll see if we can find those notes as well. It's from our boys at Ill Will. We can't stop drinking them. I'd say they're at the top of the game for smoothie sours right
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
And so as soon as I was able to find some more, I was able to get some. But let's see how this baby pours. With these soft cans, so odd. All right, so
well done.
Not as thick, right? As the I might have made that a little too much.
Yeah, well, you can keep that one
sure,
for you.
I'm sure nobody's going to complain.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, I see the error.
Party
the
foul.
The error of our ways.
He didn't roll the can, people. So, lesson be learned that when you get these smoothie sours, it's real important to roll them a couple times.
Trying to educate our audience.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
So you can definitely tell when you see these on camera, you'll be able to tell the differences in the color. Probably the flavor profile is not going to change that much, but you can definitely want to roll smoothie sours. It's almost, you can almost shake them because there's hardly any carbonation in them anyway. Just to get all the stuff that settled to the bottom mixed up with the top.
Cheers.
Cheers, brothers. Oh,
wow,
man.
So,
oh my God.
Before we talk about this, let's talk about rolling the can.
Woo.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Wow.
So 2 years ago, we were up in Williamsburg at another Field Days event, and they had RER there, and they had just a rando, like worker, right? Not associated with that brewery.
Yeah.
And like we found they had all these beers. I think that's the one that you weren't at. I think you were sick that one, so it was you and I.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so she pops the first one and she pours it. And then she pours like the second taster, and like Aaron got one that was red and mine was blue. And I was like, oh man. So it was like, we had to tell her like, hey, make sure for your sours that you're getting them some motion there. But
good Lord,
I should have known.
Is good.
But even with the watery one, if you will, dude, this is nuts.
This is peach rings in liquid form.
Liquid form, vanilla. I'm getting a little bit of bubble gum in there a little bit.
Wow.
Like it literally tastes like those peach ring gummy rings to me, like in liquid form. That is amazing. I'm a fanatical peach person though. I love peach flavors.
It's not just peach.
No, it is.
So you said, did you say strawberry?
Oh yeah. So peach, strawberry. It says white chocolate. Are you getting that? And almond.
So I do get strawberry in this.
Yeah, I get the strawberry as well.
But it's still predominant peach. And I think that the strawberry complements it, right? So it's not like two separate flavors or anything like competing, but it's very subtle. It just kind of.
And I think I would like to think the white chocolate might bring some of the sweetness to the party. Maybe not the actual chocolate flavoring. I'm not picking up the actual chocolate flavor, the white chocolate flavoring, but the sweetness of the chocolate.
I think that's going to just kind of
mellow things out, maybe.
Yeah,
I think it's going to just add to the body, right?
Because when you think strawberry and peach, it's not like super sweet, but if you add chocolate to that, it's bringing the whole. It's like all round.
Okay, Aaron, what do you got on it?
It's taking me a lot not to rate this a 5. I am digging the flavor. I mean, it's not super thick like some of the other ones that we've had. But I don't think that is a factor here. Like, it's all flavor for me. It's like...
No, and I think it's easier to drink. I mean, as sweet as it is, I think if it was... I mean, I don't think it's oversweet. Don't get me wrong. It's not oversweet. But I think if it was thick and the same sweetness, it'd be tasting like melted ice cream.
That is a
sherbet.
big, robust flavor. Like that is.
Yeah, if you don't like peaches and you don't like the tartness of strawberries, probably not the beer for you. But I love it.
That's super good. Yeah. All right. What do you got?
I'm always high on the rating for y'all.
Do you want us to go first?
No, I'm gonna give it a 5.
You're giving 5?
I love it. I know you'll probably maybe a little lower.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I'm a 4.75. I think it's super good. And even 4.75 is a banger brew.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is incredible.
Yeah, when Aaron talked about possibly bringing this one on the show, I got super excited because I love peaches. It's every bit of a 4.75. I want to give it a 5. I really, really want to give it a 5. You know what? Give it a 5. It's a 5 for me. I could drink it. And I think the crazy part about it is it's sweet, but I think I could drink a whole can of this.
Dude, you could drink
like, could you imagine
during
like
summer?
sitting, could you sit like on the deck,
Yeah.
grilling by the lake, just
Yeah.
dude,
Let's go sit out back and crack one of these. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Love it. What do we got? What's next on the list?
So I brought forward Swim Test from Green Cheek, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a double dry hop triple IPA, 10.2% with Citra and a little bit of Nelson to try to kind of smooth it, I guess. But another one. So this one was canned on 16 Jan. So let's see how
super freshy.
Yeah. So let's see how this goes.
I mean, for a California beer to get all the way over here.
To get all the way over here. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what it looks like, right? I mean, it's pretty.
It's very
pretty
light.
dense.
It's
I mean,
straw color.
It looks like it smells.
Dude, it
fantastic.
smells. Yeah, this thing smells pretty damn amazing. There you go.
Terrified that we're going to drop one.
I know, right? So what we should be getting out of this one is pineapple nectarine, but a big oat base.
Oat based.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's just going to give it a very smooth. You're going to have a really good creamy mouth feel to it, right? So
usually adds to the body a little bit too, from what I've experienced. It makes it maybe a little bit touch thicker, not like super thick, but a little bit thicker.
All right, cheers, fellas.
Mouth feel. Ooh, that's good.
Oh, that is good. Yeah.
Right
Not as big oats as I would. So when it said oats, like I thought it'd be more, which is fine.
So Other Half does a really good oats, like their Daydream series.
Mm-hmm.
The oats base that they have, you can tell it's very creamy.
And it's very thick.
Yeah.
It's not like thick like a smoothie sour or a stout, but it has that kind of smoothness. Yeah, I mean it's
like velvety.
Yeah,
whatever. But
it's also a little bit more filling, I think, too, when you're drinking oat.
It's about medium body, I think.
It's definitely a triple, right?
What's the ABV on this one?
10.2.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So it does have a little bit of booziness to it.
Yeah, Nelson is kicking in there. It's getting a little dry, not as juicy. The pineapple, yeah, I don't know if pineapple's there. It's just I don't know if it's overwhelming.
Right. So think of it in terms of a triple, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see the look on your face.
Oh, yeah, I know. Hopefully my face shows good because I'm sitting here like, I love it. Yeah, my face said a million stories last episode, but I really like this one, and I'm really just sitting on pins and needles waiting to hear what Mike's got to say about it. I'm just so super excited.
It is super good. So I try to envision this like, I don't know, 7:00 at night,
right?
Kind of seeing what's on, like, all right, what kind of sports am I watching tonight, whatever, cracking this and sitting there with this. And like, I think it's great. Man.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's right up my alley.
Yeah,
it's perfect, like hop balance. Like it's got bitterness to it. I mean, if you're like not really big into the IPA game and you're not really into that hop pop that just punches you in the mouth, this isn't a West Coast type hop. It's definitely that hazy boy type, but it's got a little bit more
It's a little dank.
hop. Yeah, a little dank. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that out of a triple.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, for those that aren't maybe big IPA folks, like if you grab this one off the counter and you're not big in IPA hoppiness, you're going to be upset with this one. But because it's got it, and I love it. I mean, I really do. I've
I've
like
grown
it.
into that though. Like I grew from like 100% tropical to like I'm looking for dank.
Yeah, a little bit more
A little bit
complex.
of kick. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I think goes a long way, and it's something we could talk about too, real quick. Is like I talk to a lot of folks, like when we first started hanging out, you know, IPAs aren't everybody's favorite when we first start drinking. When we start drinking craft beers, like everybody's like, oh, I don't like IPAs. Well, essentially, you got to teach yourself how to drink IPAs because it's kind of like being in high school again. Like the first beer you drank, you know, like Mike's old Milwaukee sitting on the table there. Those aren't delicious when you're 18, 17, 16 years old, whatever, at a bonfire. You just keep drinking them until they taste good, right? And I think IPAs are similar to that, right? You gotta create that palate, and to really enjoy them. And once you create that palate, you can really explore all of them. So,
and this one's pretty highly rated. I don't have Untapped up, and I didn't make a note of it, but I mean, I think it's north of 4.4. But I think I'm coming in at 4.5 on this one.
Yep.
Right. So I think that's where I'm at. So
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Aaron?
I'm with you. I'd say like 4.75 is close, but I think this is on par with a lot of the 4.5s I've had recently. It's great. I think it's stellar. Like the combination of hops is kind of what you would want. I'm trying to think of reasons why it wouldn't be a 4.75, but I think it's just like where I'm at with.
But then again, anytime
had,
you pop a beer and it's a 4.5, like
no, absolutely.
Yeah, that's an automatic. It comes up available. You're ordering at least 1 4-pack of it. Like if it's a 4.5, it's a phenomenal beer. I'm at a 4.75 just because I love the hop balance to it. It's really good in my opinion. Like I really like. When I was waiting for you to talk, I was just kind of like admiring the different, and not admiring you by any means, but admiring all the hops and the different flavors that, you know, at the beginning, the middle, the end of the drink, and then, you know, a couple seconds after the drink. So I think it's really well done by Green Cheek. You know, another California brewery that's doing big things, becoming available, you know, around.
And this is new. Like for us, right? Yeah. So like, you know,
what, 6 months ago, we didn't even know who Green Cheek was.
And so it's hard for us to get, obviously to get every brewery. But even so, I mean, it's just hard to get these.
Yeah.
So the first time I think we've had them was with a collab. I think 3 Threes or something that one of them did. They had Green Cheeks on
3 Threes was done by Equilibrium.
Yeah. Well, there was like 5 or 6 different collabs.
Yeah, there was like
six 4.4s and all those things.
Yeah.
So
it might have been during the was it the other half anniversary brews when they came out?
Possibly,
maybe?
I would have to go back and look at those.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just assuming, but
when you started to see like 6 collabs on one beer, they're like.
But the fact that we can get this and share it is a good deal. So
100%.
Big win.
Yeah, it is.
And so after the craziness of last week, so this week I brought I've had this in the fridge waiting for a special moment, and you know, wanted to share it with the boys. So I got a turmoil coconut monster cookie imperial stout by Toppling Goliath. Comes in at a 13.4% ABV, so it's gonna smoke your tops off. It's going to have, you know, obviously the big monster cookie, so it should have some candied chocolate flavors to it. Coconut, obviously, some chocolate chips, and I'm excited to pop the top, boys. Got this one. Actually got lucky. Didn't think I was going to get this one. I got this one from our friends at Corks and Kegs in Richmond. Big, awesome bottle shop. We're lucky in Virginia to have some pretty unbelievable bottle shops that get some unbelievable beers from out of state. Got that one. This one here. Drove through there. Didn't expect for them to have any left. They had a couple left. I got one, which I'm super excited because I love Toppling Goliath, home state from Decorah, Iowa. So I try to grab.
Iowa
Hey,
peoples.
yeah,
Hey.
just shameless plug for Iowa. Always
Like
so
that
it
shameless
was,
hat.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully they won tonight. So 448 on the Untapped. So without any other delays.
While you're popping that, does the phrase barrel aged stout there scare you at all? Drink it.
You're not supposed to notice that, Aaron.
No, I saw it. I saw it.
Someone in this group doesn't like barrel.
We talked about it
aged.
last episode. Hey, no, we did. We said
It's fine. It's
it
fine.
wasn't
Let
a
it run.
huge thing.
Let it ride. So I was trying
Let's see what
not
happens.
to tell him, Aaron, because I figured it would, definitely
Change my mind.
look at this motor oil.
Did.
Oh man,
Oh, yummy.
I can taste oak barrels from here.
See, and that's just Aaron doing his thing.
Oh man.
Just trying to educate the peoples.
Oh, and I can smell it too.
I think it's gonna be good.
It's going to be phenomenal, I think. But we'll see. Mike's like, I taste whiskey. I taste whiskey.
Oh man. All right. Well,
What do you mean?
I mean, it smells really, really good though. That's the thing. Like the head on it is just.
Oh, yeah. That's
With
got
the
some
nose, I mean,
booze.
yeah.
Cheers, my boys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. though.
Cheers.
Not bad.
No.
That's
So when you say barrel aged, like I'm like it's just gonna be.
It's a little on the back end, but up
Yeah, but
front,
it's-
it's got good flavor.
It is way more cookie
Oof. When you
than
bring it
barrel
out,
aged.
yeah, you can taste a lot of those things that are on.
Yeah.
The front of that coconut.
coconut, definitely. I can
Cookies.
definitely taste the chocolate. And the crazy part is most stouts with the roastiness, it comes across as really dark chocolate and bitter, but I can almost taste like a milk chocolate, like sweetness to it.
A little bit of peanut butter.
So
Yep.
so super smooth,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't have
Silky smooth,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't have on the back half. There is some of that barrel aged bite,
Yeah.
but I mean it's really good. I mean, and
And
for
for
being
Mike to say barrel aged anything is
For being-
okay. Is
I'm good with stouts. Barrel aged stouts, not my thing. I have literally tasted some and got rid of the rest.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, yeah.
This is freaking good,
It's
man.
good,
Like this
yeah.
is way like
Now-
like when you say smooth, I'm like when you drink it from the glass, it is like
Yeah.
it is like like maple syrup almost, kind of like not that flavor, but that consistency, that silky smoothness to it. Aaron's over here doing the old wine gargle.
No, but when you
Yeah.
breathe out, it's like
Yeah.
it's all there. It comes together.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I think it's good, man.
Okay.
I mean, I could see
Yeah.
Cookie Monster eating this thing. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, for real.
Well,
That's good, man.
what do you think you're gonna get it?
For me,
Had enough time?
man, every time I like breathe and then close my mouth again, I get another like
Mhm.
pop of flavor. Like that one,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just got like coconut, like you said, a little bit of peanut butter. I mean, I had high expectations for this one, and it met every one plus some. Man, I think for me, 475. I mean, I really think it's, and I don't know, it's like a 475 or a 5 to me, but I don't want to like.
He said 5.
I think it's 475. I think it's 475
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
And probably the only reason why I say that is because, I'm still learning how to drink stouts.
Yeah.
But this one's good. This one's really good. It doesn't have that
Same.
freaking heavy coffee, like overbearing coffee roastiness to it. Yeah, it's good.
So I think I agree. And the reason why is because I don't think it's that barrel age
Yeah.
that I tend to shy away from because I don't like that.
Right.
Right. But no, I think it's got
Yeah, if we weren't on the show and I brought this out, Mike would say, "No, I'm good." He probably wouldn't even have
you're
tasted
right.
it.
You're right. Yeah, you'd be like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Barrel aged, not dog."
I'll have my IPA.
I
over
will
here.
force you to drink it on the show.
But yeah, no. So I am glad that you shared that with us. It is very rare for us to get something like that. But yeah, I think 475 is good. It does have a very slight barrel aged burn to it, but I think it's good. Right, complex flavors. It tastes great. So
yeah, I mean, anybody that's a stout drinker, like we have those people that are just love the stout because of the complex flavors and obviously the 13% warmingness of it.
It is very warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll get you sweating a bit.
I'm struggling between 4.5 and 4.75. So for me, the bourbon barrel aged, it's there, but the thing that the thing between IPAs and stouts is IPAs, I just want to keep drinking them.
Yeah.
Stouts, it's like you sip on it and you can literally just breathe, and it's like you're still drinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm trying to learn how to drink them.
And I think that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
So like stouts are definitely more of a winter, fall, the cold time of the year where you're sitting by the fireplace watching football, whatever, you're drinking the stout. You're not trying to freaking stack beer cans like.
But at 13%, I mean, you have to sip it.
But it doesn't taste like 13%.
Not at all.
No,
not at all.
The flavors are. I mean, I'd probably give it a 4.6. So I'll round it up to a 4.75. Yeah,
Right
dude, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's
good stuff.
It's better than last week's.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I think all three of these beers were better than the three. Well, yes, they are. All three of these beers are better than the three we had last week.
Category last week, yeah. Okay.
I think we did well with the banger beers to bring to the table. Like,
yeah, and even just the beers that are in our glass still, right? So,
yeah,
I mean, all these.
We brought some heat today with some ABVs, though.
I mean, I have all these.
And Mike never has beers sitting around waiting for him to drink. But yeah, that's what happens when we're bringing bringing the heat.
Great selection of brews this time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I think that brings the show to a close. Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us for episode 3. Next week we got some special guests. So Earl and Seb from Early Birds Bottle Shop will be here. We'll be chatting up with them, taking a tour of their bottle shop. And then the week after that, I think we're doing a professional beer taster.
Yeah.
Going to be on the show.
I haven't officially asked yet, but it looks like it's probably going to happen.
Yeah. So super excited. Lots of good events.
Lots of things coming.
There will be some travel in between then and now. So hopefully we get out and about. So just trying out more places and getting out and about. So
absolutely.
And please follow us on Instagram and Untapped. If you want to be on the show, let us know.
Feedback.
And, feedback.
Feedback
please.
is great. Please. We're trying to make this more for our audience, so let us know, what you guys want to see.
Tell us your beers, right?
Nothing weird, but
how do I like what are we missing out on? So
yeah, for sure.
And please, by all means, please remember, life's too short to drink bad beer. Adios. We'll have a good time. We'll see you.